Hey, I'll bring you a quick deck profile just showing off Pendulum Magicians. This is literally the best iteration of the deck. If this deck had even come out like a year ago, it would have been just too insane. Let's just go through it real quick. Joker searches everything in the deck. Wisdom Eye grabs you everything in the deck. Triple Harmonizing Magician. The new one allows the Pendulum deck to go into synchro plays and other fusion plays and things like that. So many combos. So good, so good. Double Iris. These are all like plush fire type effects that they have. So even if they're in scale, you get to search. This one searches your Pendulum graphs. Purple Poison at 3. This one pops cards, facilitates battle plays, things like that. Play one Black Fang. Even though I play Zark in it. Zark is not what we're trying to get out here. The way my playstyle facilitates it is I just don't need the special summon monsters, and I don't need that many high skills, unless I'm in the grind game, which is not really gonna happen in this format. One White Wing, literally the shittiest card in the deck. 2 Astrograph Sorcerers. I know people play it at 3, and I would play it at 3 too. I'm playing around with just that 2. It's searchable through the Time Star. Most of the time when you're using this effect, you're going to try to use it first, or but he's also your fusion into Zark and things like that. And he's a level 7, so that helps get into some rank 7 stuff. 1 Chronograph Sorcerer. Same thing as the Astrograph. He helps fix like bad hands and allow you to special summon from hand. Also fusions into Zark. I'm just playing around with him. I don't know how I feel about him yet. But you can also use him for rank 6s, he's a 6 with Oath Dragon. Speaking of Oath Dragon, still one of the better cards in the deck. Allows you to really abuse Wisdom Eye and Harmonizing Magician. More 1-0s, Noble Dragon for more fusion plays, Meteor Burst, things like that into rank 7s. 1 Dragon Pulse to pop face-ups. 1 Dragon Pit. Dragon Pit still being a very important card in this deck. Trying to get through back row. This deck is a Pendulum deck. You still worry about strikes and things like that. The Trap card also allows you to kind of get through back row, so combining it with Dragon Pit allows you to really get over insane boards. Luster Pendulum, because Luster Pendulum. Odd Eyes, because Odd Eyes is the one of it's searchable. Level 7 for more rank 7 plays, and to go into Meteor Burst. I do play 1 tech card, 3 of. People playing Fairy Tale Luna. I think this card is significantly better. Apex Avian allows you to control your board. You can get rid of it by going to rank 7s with it. But for the most part, you're using it to protect yourself from Dryden and other effects. It's super good. You don't have to play it. You can always change it out. For spells, we have Triple Duelist Alliance, searches Pendulum Graph, searches Luster, searches Odd Eye, searches whatever card you need at that time. Pendulum Call as well, which is the main point. 2-star Pendulum Graphs. If a magician leaves the board, essentially search for another magician, add to hand. It's a hard one to return, so we don't need 3 of them, I think. And I don't really want to open with this card at any given moment for the most part. 2 Pendulum Calls. I'm glad this card's back at. I'm glad this card is at 3 or whatever, not back at 3. The more you play this deck, the more you realize it's not even really needed. I've seen some builds where they cut it. I would cut it. I think 2 is the sweet spot because sometimes you want to open with it, especially if you have a bad hand. Still good though. 2 Sky Iris. Literally to facilitate combos and get searches off of like double Iris or pop cards, and it searches Odd Eyes Dragon, and it also searches Odd Eyes Fusion. So you can go to Vortex, and then we round it out with Time Pendulum Graph, only trap card in the deck. It's essentially a Scrap Dragon. It turns all your cards into Scrap Dragons, and if you have Time Star Magician, like, you're sending cards. Like, that's literally all that matters. And that's the main deck. For the extra deck, once again, you can play around with a lot of this stuff. I definitely I would never even say this is the definitive version. You can play different rank 4s, different 6s. You can play with 1/6, which would probably be Utopia Beyond for me, or maybe a Ptolemy. yeah, I mean, you can do whatever you want with it. The extra deck is pretty loose. One trapeze to facilitate OTKs. Yeah, trapeze magician just like sometimes literally will just steal games for you all day. One abyss dweller. For fucking True Draco and all that other nonsense. 2 time star. Really a really fantastic Xyz monster. 2 pendulum magicians needed. You can search for any dark spellcaster in your deck, like Astrograph, Chronograph, what else? Joker, which is normally how most of my combos go. But yeah, man, and it also protects your magicians once per turn, and then you could send a magician. Sorry, you can send a spellcaster from deck to graveyard with like Noble Dragon to start getting combos going, or to set up for Zark plays. Emerald to recycle. Tornado Dragon, one of the better cards that help you get through back row. Usually, sometimes they need to solemn strike it because they might have multiple strikes. Once they strike that Tornado Dragon, you know they have multiple strikes or multiple ways to try to clear your board. So usually this is like really what I use it for. Broadbolt and Trident, because we can make it, and we play mind controls and weird side deck stuff. Big Eye, rank 7, you don't have to play it, but it's Big Eye. Same with Absolute Dragon. I feel like you should play it. Really facilitates really good combos. This is Odd Eyes Rebellion, but this really should be Z-Arc. Yeah, Zark hits the board, blows up the board, can't really be destroyed or targeted. They literally have to kaiju over it. It's a 4,000 beater. Usually we go for OTKs with it. Odd Eyes Vortex. Still a really good card. A walking, not strike, but a walking Infernity Barrier. Super good. Level 7. Odd Eyes Meteor Burst, stop your opponent in the battle phase. Ignister! Because it's Ignister. Also getting Luster out. It's just disgusting. And we rounded off with like Cyframe Lord Omega. Omega is usually a first turn play. You don't necessarily have to play with Omega. You can play with Void Ogre because Harmonizing is a Dark Tuner. You can play any rank 8 Stardust, whatever you feel is necessary. You can, like I said, you can play around with this extra deck. Because Harmonizing Magician really opens up the deck to doing a lot. I would probably play Utopia Beyond, Z-Arc, and you know, whatever I just mentioned. Maybe a Void Ogre as well. I rounded out with 4 synchros. And or high, you know, there's so much stuff you can play. Like I said, best version of the deck. Play it however you want. You can play the Zoob version, which is probably gonna be a more competitive version. I'm playing this deck for fun, but I really feel like this deck is insane. And that's really it. I hope you like it. And thanks for tuning in. Peace.